freshman hoops tonight, huh?
Freshman. Oh yeah, Steven got big.
Could you yell at the refs a little bit?
No, hide in the corner.
Tom, the number of assist guys you're getting, is that something you have to coach out of them, or is that just kind of the personality?
You know, I got to admit, I mean, we talked this year about moving the ball side to side more. That was about the only thing we really harped on this year is better ball movement, moving people, moving the ball. But I think it starts with Denzel. He's so unselfish, and I think everybody's kind of caught on. So it's been been big. But now we're going to play a team that really defends tough, more like a Purdue. So it'll be interesting to see, how we do, how we move the ball. This would be a big game for us. This team is, I think, they've got a couple losses, but I think it's a very good team.
How are they different the way they play?
Well, they're physical, they're big. They're 6'11", 6'8", 6'8" wing guy, and he's one of the best offensive rebound, more like a Jason Richardson. Guards are just tough. They rotated a bunch of guards, maybe not quite as good a shooting team. Again, their best shooters might be their 4 and 3 man, not their 1 and 2. But I'm expecting some pressure. I'm expecting them to come at us defensively. They turn you over a little bit more. So it'll be, like a Kansas, maybe a little bigger inside and a little more athletic, maybe not quite as good as shooting guards.
Ball distribution seems to be a strength of you guys. How satisfied are you with what you've seen, Matt, last night with that hustle play to Denzel?
Well, that's what we're trying to work on today. I don't think we've let maybe the officiating or maybe just the physical nature. It's interesting to have our 2000 team coming back, and I was watching a couple things that they put together for them on highlights, and I realized how soft we are, compared to back then. Now, some of it's by necessity, some of it's not. And so I thought today we had one of our better practices as far as getting after some people. The game's going to be won on the boards and in the break, I think, and turnovers, and that'll. But it's been satisfying that we moved the ball. It's been satisfying that we're making an extra pass to get a better shot. I think most of the guys really have a keen sense of finding the open guy, and that's really rewarding because that gets everybody involved.
What kind of a rush of memory or do you expect when you see that 2000 team back together again?
Well, I say, I look at it every day, I look at the 3 Final Fours. I look at the 4 Big Ten championships that group produced. I look at my bank book. I figure I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. I look at a lot of things. I have an incredible appreciation for how they sustained just a grinding, athletic, fast-breaking, tough defense, They kind of stood for everything the program has been built on. It's gone up and down a little bit because you get different players. But I think what it does for me is it reminded me of how you got to play just a little bit different style now. You can't quite be as bruising as they were, but we got to be probably more bruising than we've been.
Is this group more skilled than that team was?
Maybe more numbers of good shooters. We had Morris was a good shooter, and Mateen wasn't a great shooter. Charlie, so. So maybe we have more good shooters other than Morris, but more skilled. I don't know. We're not as tenacious as that team was. We're not as good a rebounding team as that team was, even though our stats look like we are. But skilled as far as moving the ball, passing the ball, maybe a little bit more. But Andre was such a good passer from the post too that, and then we had a 4-man who could really shoot it. I was 6, 8, or 9, and so I don't know. Hard to compare them. I don't know who'd win the game. I don't care because it won't happen, and I don't have to talk about it. But I think this team, with the skill level it has, has the grind of that team, this team will be very good.
Can those guys from that team talk to them about that, or is that something they got to figure out on their own? Or can that help
no, those guys can talk to them. I mean, that's the name of that's the best part of the whole thing is those guys have to talk to our guys. I mean, I think that's what all great programs have is they have people that that'll tell them, that'll post them up. You know, I mean, when you look at it from my standpoint, I mean, they're sick of my voice, so it'd be nice to have somebody else's voice.
Tom, you always believed in those things that that team stood for, but did you almost need them to confirm it for you that that style would work at the highest level, that championship?
Well, remember now, as we developed that style, half of it was because the first year or two we couldn't make a shot in the ocean, so we had an offensive rebound. We had a, you know, and then you know, we had to win with our defense because our offense wasn't good enough. So it kind of grew as we went, you know. But those guys took that to another level. I mean, I thought what we were fun about is, well, maybe we weren't a great half-court offensive team, but we were such a good fast-breaking team. We lived off our defense as far as getting a good rebound and getting a quick outlet. You know, we were tenacious at the guards defensively, and that's what I've said many a times, you know. Sometimes we're not as tenacious with our guards because they're better shooters, and it's un-American to do both sometimes. But if we get to that point where our guards become better defensively along with their offensive skills, that's how you become special.
Is it weird for you not to see Billy Donovan at the head of that?
Yeah, it will be weird not to see Billy. In fact, I might even call him tomorrow and see how the NBA thing's going. It'll be different now. White has done a good job with them. I think they're similar but different. And yet, you know, Billy, I mean, we had some great games. We had some, you know, it was a good rivalry, good games here, good game down there, good game in the tournament. So it'll be a little strange not seeing them there.
Tom, I thought about asking your players what they remember about that team, and you've gone to me on the way here. They were like 3 years old, right?
Some of them were 2, yeah, that's right. You're getting old, Fred. Yeah, you know, that's what's funny about it. But you know, I've talked about them enough that they know who they are. They come around enough that they know who they are, and I think they've looked at some film. You know, we've taken different players and tried to show them what this guy does or that guy does, and so yeah, they don't know them as much as far as seeing them play, but they know them as much as how they worked and what they did.
Tom, going back to, you mentioned Billy, Mike's taken over obviously for established program. He's Purdue, Miami, you guys, and he's kind of going through the buzzsaw right now. What kind of challenges does that bring for a coach?
Well, he is, but you know, he's. I mean, I've been through that buzzsaw my first year in coaching too. So, I mean, the difference is he's got a pretty good team. I mean, the big kid they got was with Stan Heath, and we tried to get him. You know, when Stan left South Florida, and the kid's a good player, and then the Smith kid was, you know, at VCU, and he was very good there. So, I mean, he's got a good basketball team that's played very well. I mean, I like his team, and he did a good job down in Louisiana, so he'll be a good coach there. I have no questions about that.
How much do you remember about, just going back to your first year real quick, I think it was Louisville and North Carolina, they were top 25 teams you had.
Louisville, North Carolina, at Kansas State, at Oklahoma State, Arkansas, a top 25 team, and yeah, there was Santa Clara with Steve Nash, but we spanked Chaminade by 2. Forget that, boy.
Tom, with these guys coming back, obviously Cleve's coming back. You've had a handful of, you know, great leaders. Maybe would you say that? Would you over the years? Would you say you've got 2 of them on the same team now for the first time?
Yeah, that's a good point. I'd say we do. I mean, those 2 guys have been both verbal leaders. They've been good teammates. You know, they've learned from the guys. You know, even from Steve Smith, but they definitely learned from Cleves and Walton and Day. I mean, it's been really good, and I think they're trying to take it to another level. And it really helps when you have another guy with you. You know, when you have another guy with you, so that every day it doesn't have to be you. That's a little bit more what Mateen went through, and that's a little tougher. So I think this is a unique thing, but a good thing.
What's the postcard memory from that season for you? Is it with Mateen and one shining moment, or is it something else?
Oh God, there's postcards. because there were a lot of big games, you know. I mean, one of them would be the North Carolina win without Mateen. You know, watching him cry because he couldn't play in the game, watching Morris just go off. I still think, one of the greatest memories for me was the Syracuse Iowa State weekend in Detroit. You know, that was, but when I recruited Mateen, everybody knows the story that told him we could win a national championship, you know, and ever since the guy got here, that one shining moment was it. I mean, that's all he talked about. And to stand on the floor and watch it being played and watch the highlights was pretty special.
Tom, has there been any, I don't know if you got asked this the other day with Tom with the foot, has there been any thought of sitting him a little bit and maybe see if that helps? Or
No, there hasn't. Number one, he doesn't complain enough about it. Number two, it doesn't seem to matter much. I mean, I think we tried it a little earlier in this season. They're going to look at a couple other things, but you know, I don't know. Until he complains, ask him. He doesn't walk any funny. He doesn't do anything different until he gets that boot on. But tougher than nails, boy. It's tougher than nails.
Anything else, guys?
All right, guys. Thanks.